A lot of people, I know a lot of black men on YouTube have been making the cries of black women are whores, black women are um, these sexual monsters who live to destroy men's lives, and they live to they live to ruin men and shit and make our lives a living hell. I have a friend, and if you listen to my earlier video, I told you I have a friend who he has his own bow tie company. I didn't put this in, but he's actually I think a nurse or he's a doctor. I think he's a nurse, but he works in the hospital. I think he does surgery, and he would tell me stories of because he works for the hospital, and there's a lot of things in the hospital that a lot of people don't know, especially when it comes to racism and white people. A lot of he because he runs across a lot of white folks, and he noticed that a lot of the white folks that come in, they're crazy. They're crazy as shit, or they're doing something that's completely stupid, or they're worse than the niggas in the hood. And then, he would tell these stories about like these weird things, these violent things that these white kids are doing. And what like he was telling me about these games that these high school kids at these preppy little white schools go to, little shit that they do, and they. Then he told me about a game that I heard about. I only heard about this game twice. About this game that these same white kids do, where it's kind of like a kissing game, but it's like you have to. I think the girls give like the dudes a blow job, but they wear like these colored lipstick, and so the guys have to guess which girl gave them a blow job or kissed their dick or something. It's just some twisted game like that. And if you tell the average black person in my area, they would be like shocked, like, "What the fuck is this?" The white kids, especially these teens, they do a lot of weird sexual games that black folks will just be like, "What the fuck is this?" But that's the kind of the point of my video is that I hope I title it right. I want to title this um, "White Women: The Original Whore." And this is not really a disrespect to white women, but I'm just trying to make a point here about white women's sexuality, and I don't think it's as bad as what black men make black women seem to be, and I don't think white women are these perfect pure angels that black men make them to be. Um, when I was young, when I was 16, I discovered porn. And the point that I discovered, I ended up learning about fetishes a little too soon. I didn't understand sex, and I didn't understand what a vagina was. I didn't. I knew I heard about it. I knew what a pussy was, but I didn't know where it was. Even though I seen naked women online, I didn't know what it was. I was a naive kid, and so I ended up finding these sites of fetishes, and I'm thinking like, okay, I'm guessing this is a site where you can learn about sex and what. And so the thing was I ended up finding like a lesbian site. And so you have these women walking around with dildos, um, and strap on penises. I was like looking at this shit like, okay, maybe I can still learn it and see what sex is from them, even though they're lesbians. And it ended up being like some type of kind of weird fetish bondage type shit. And I noticed like the things that they did was I didn't know it was weird because I was just learning about sex. I was trying to figure out what people are doing during sex. And so I just ended up finding this site and I'm thinking like, oh, this is what they're doing. And so I'm looking at this site and I'm thinking it's normal with the shit they're doing. I ended up telling my homeboy about the site and he was like, what kind of shit is that? And he's black. He's like, what kind of shit is that? Who does this shit? And I was like, it's not normal. Like, fuck nah. And so I was like, okay, like, damn. And I ended up showing another friend. He laughed. I showed him the site, and he laughed his ass off. He was just like, "What the fuck is this?" And he was just laughing. He would actually watch the stuff, and look at the photos while he's at school. I don't think he ever got in trouble for it, but he just kind of thought it was funny. It was a funny sight. But it was kind of interesting. Like I learned about sex incorrectly because I learned it from white women. It was a site that was mainly focused on white women. Granted, even though I was looking at porn, I was just looking at it just for the sake of it. I didn't have a fetish or for a thing for white women. It was just that the porn that I happened to look at were, were just I was just looking at porn stars in general, just porn in general. I wasn't so of course there's gonna be more I'm gonna be seeing more white women and black women because I didn't know any black porn stars. I think the only one that I probably knew about was Pinky and Cherokee at best. I think that was the only two that I knew so far. So you know, so the point that I'm trying to make is that when you look at like porn, and then when I started analyzing porn, the shit that white women are into is just really odd and kind of out of the box. Like the concept of anal sex. I used to thought that was normal. Hence, I was remember I was just a weird kid a nerdy weird kid who didn't know what sex was. I was like, I'm just a nerd. I just play video games, go to school, read books. I don't know anything about sex. And so, um, I'm watching it, and it's like I'm thinking it's normal, but it's not. And so once I started learning about shit, I'm learning about STDs. I'm learning about how to get AIDS and shit like that. I'm looking at shit like, okay, wait a minute, anal sex isn't normal. That's nasty as fuck. And I've learned about the infections you can get from anal sex, and I was like, wait a minute. It's like funny how like white people always champion about anal sex, and I've always noticed that on Cosmopolitan they would make articles about the benefits of anal sex and shit like that, and they would always make it seem like how to make good anal sex, how to safely do it. But overall, I just think it's a very weird sexuality. It's a weird sexual act, and usually it's very common among whites. White men tend to like anal because they like the satisfaction of seeing a woman in pain. When because the rectum is not designed to stretch. It's not like a vagina to where it can stretch and then kind of close. You know, it's not the anus is not elastic. Um, so I always got I've learned that these white folks they do weird things to these white girls, and these white girls are they're taking it into the ass. Um, you know, I white girls are and from these weird sites, these white girls are having people stick their hand in their ass, and then you have the real grotesque shit, which I can't even stomach to. I don't watch it, but I'm just kind of going off. I know it exists. I've heard about yellow showers and defecating. I never watched that shit. I already know that's sick to begin with. But just be honest with you. Who is the most general? Who is the most likely race of women to participate in that type of shit? It's usually white women. I never heard, I never read a Vice article or a Cosmopolitan article about a black woman who is, into anal or into, into anal or into some weird shit, you know, or those fetishes, you know. At best, you know, you might meet a black woman who's into some type of bondage fetish or something. But I wonder if they're trying to cut the grass. They probably are. But anyways, let me pause this video here because I think they're about to cut the grass or something. Just let me wait till he gets out. But anyways, I'll probably just continue. Um, probably just move over a bit. But anyways, you know, I've most of these weird things that white women are that white these weird fetishes are usually things that white women are into, you know. And so I think a lot of brothers, I think they unfairly judge black women because simply over, you know, bastard babies or, you know, out of wedlock shit, you know, or premarital sex. But I don't think it's as weird or as bad as what white women are into, you know. You know, how many black women have you seen perform anal or talk about they enjoyed it or being defecated on or choked or being slapped, ghetto gagged, you know. Even with the concept of ghetto gaggers, that's white men introducing black women to white sex. Black men didn't make ghetto gaggers and then white men followed. You know, that wasn't us, you know. Shoot. Gotta use the bathroom, but like I was saying, you know, that wasn't us. They weren't inspired by us, you know. And 9 times out of 10, when you see porn stars who are black porn stars who are into these weird fetishes, they're usually the ones who are they're usually the ones who are dating white men in majority. You know, these are usually women like Skin Diamond. Um, these are usually, you know, like the black porn stars who usually work for white companies. You know, like, you know, Skin Diamond. Um, some other ones. I'm just walking, but anyways, like I'm saying, like Skin Diamond's one. Uh, it's another one. Uh, Lisa Tiffin. Um, Leighton Leighton Benton or something. There's another one. Yasmin Lovin. Jessica Creepshow. Daisy Ducati. Um, and you know, I don't really know much black porn stars, but anyways, but you know, usually those women, you know, they date white guys. They're into white guys, or they tend to make most of their money working for white companies. So, you know, you know, even though despite the stereotype of the Jezebel whore black woman, I just don't think that black women deserve the type of vitriol or the hate or this kind of stigma. You know, I do think it's kind of over the top to yell out whore to black women and then call you know, like, let me rephrase it. I think it's hypocritical to call black women whores because of premarital sex, um, you know, babies out of wedlock, um, cheating, and shit like that. When white women tend to do a lot more worse shit when it comes to their sexuality and their sexual practices. You know, we've seen those spam videos of what, um, those crazy things that white people post on Facebook group pages that are spam, like girls fucking dogs and shit. Um, crazy shit of you know, girls fucking dogs. That weird shit of two girls in one cup. Even though that was in Brazil, those are women who are classified as white. You know, but you see all of these kind of weird fetishes, and black women aren't. They aren't. They're not going viral off doing that shit. They're not even doing it at all, or the majority, but more at the most part. So I think it's kind of an unfair. I think it's an unfair assessment to just kind of call out black women for minor things, and then you're calling the white woman an angel, but then again, you know she's taking it in the ass, or she is doing things or acts that are just damn nearly insane. You know. So I'm not. That's just part three. So I'll just end this video here.